Hi. So today, Shaimi is celebrating my 50th appearance in a podcast, a webinar, Instagram Live. And I'm here to share with you 4 tips that help me in these situations and that will help you in any public speaking situation, including when it comes to interviewing. So tip number 1 is know your audience and what's in it for them. What are they looking for? So obviously, when you are interviewing, prepare in advance the kind of questions, for example, that you will be asking the different people you will be interviewing with, and adapt. You will not ask the same questions to the CEO, to the head of a group, or to an associate. In the same way, your questions will be different when it comes to interviewing in a more traditional corporate setting versus in a startup. So that's for tip number 1. Tip number 2 is breathe. We have this tendency when we are stressed to stop breathing and to go very fast. they go together. So observe when you feel that you are not breathing. Maybe have a signal to yourself to say inside of you, okay, let me pause for a second and take a deep breath, and nobody will see it, and see if you can slow down the pace at which you are talking. It's very uncomfortable to be in public speaking situations and to be in interviews. There's a lot of at stake. And at the same time, we want to get out of that discomfort. So we have this tendency to go faster and faster in the way we're speaking. And so here's your invitation today to observe how you speak and to take a bit more time, piano, to get to the point. Use that as well as your prompt to be very grounded, to have your 2 feet on the floor, to have your hands being free to express themselves, but not too much, because otherwise it's distracting. Tip number 3, and this is something we all dread, is drawing a blank. Somebody asks you a question and I don't know what to say. And so the tip is to ask a question back. And it could be a clarifying question. It could be something around reframing or rehashing what they said in a different way. But this will give you a bit more time to think about the answer, but also perhaps to have an answer that is different because a different understanding of the question that they asked you. And finally, the last tip is allowing silence. Again, like with when we talk very fast, we want to get rid of the discomfort, and being in a silent moment can be very uncomfortable. But here's the thing. You also need to allow the other people on the other side, whether it's during a presentation when they're having Q&As or during interviews, to formulate questions for you, to integrate what you have said, and to continue the dialogue with you. And for that, you need to allow their brains to take the time to do that. So don't be afraid of silence. Obviously, it's not a minute silence, because this can be really very awkward. And this is when, as you know by now, when you're drawing a blank, ask a question if it feels very awkward. But don't be afraid of allowing silent moments and allowing the other person to come back to you with more questions. And so now I'm curious, what other tips do you have when it comes to public speaking or interviewing? Please share below.